इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा ही। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा ही। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत हैं पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone. A warm welcome to our Business Opportunity over Chai webinar series. Here we are aiming to represent and to launch a big brand today, where you can interact with all our where you can interact with the brand team as well as understand their business model. This is a 45-minute session where first we talk about the business option with the help of the presentation. Then we'll move towards a panel discussion. During our panel discussion, we would love to take all your queries. The particular webinar is hosted by management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. We welcome both of them. And the business opportunity which Franchise India team is launching today is Rang De Basanti. Rang De Basanti is the biggest North Indian brand in East India by volume. Inspired by the favor of highway and fueled by the idea of freshness and hygiene, Rang De Basanti Dhaba brings the authentic taste of North to the leading cities in India. They're already having presence with 12 outlets. They have a strong presence in 3 cities, and they aim to become the fastest growing North Indian chain. Today, we have invited Mr. Abhimanyu, who is the founder and director at Rang De Basanti, to take us through the business model he's offering today in our market. Thank you so much, Abhimanyu, for joining in today. May we request to start with the presentation, and obviously we would love to understand your journey also.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having us here. Can you guys hear me fine, or is there a problem? Just wanted to do a quick sound check here.
Perfectly fine, Abhimanyu. We can just go for full screen and then probably we are ready for launch.
All right, good to go. So welcome to the presentation, guys. Rang De Basanti Dhaba. We're trying to solve North Indian for India. So, when we think of North Indian, right? North Indian is the default Indian cuisine wherever we're traveling globally, right? If we say ki Indian khana hai, that by default means North Indian. It doesn't mean South Indian. It doesn't mean Bengali. It doesn't mean Gujarati food, right? North Indian is the default cuisine of India nationally and globally. And we are Rang De Basanti Dhaba. We are the biggest North Indian brand in East India by volume. We are a 10-year-old brand, and we have been operational in 3 cities. The basic proposition of Rang De Basanti is to bring the highway dhaba closer home. We take the good parts of a highway dhaba, which is taste and affordability, and shed the negative parts, which is, say, proximity to the city and hygiene and the ambience, right? So it's the best of both worlds that we bring to you through Rang De Basanti Dhaba. So I'll just lay out the formats that operate currently, right? There is what we have called fine dining, which is high-end dining. Then we have something called QSRs, which is quick service restaurant, where guys like McDonald's and KFC's fall in, right? Now, we have come up with a third format, which is quite popular in the West now, which is fast casual, which mixes the best of both QSR and high dining. QSR provides fast, quick service, which is what we incorporate in fast casual. But what we realize is that certain things about QSR which don't fit into an Indian dining experience. Indian dining experience is a lot about course by course meal. You don't want to be in a food court where you order everything in one go and pick up in a tray and sit down and eat, right? You want to order your tikkas and starters in the beginning, then you want to order your main course and then top it off with desserts, right? So we are coming up with Rang De Basanti Dhaba in a fast casual format. And why fast casual format is also because we have realized that North Indian is a cuisine which lends itself very well for delivery. And we are a delivery first brand. More than 50% of our revenues in any outlet comes from delivery. And it pretty much piggybacks on the growing trend of delivery in the country. We are amongst the top delivery vendors on aggregators like Swiggy and Zomato. At the same time, there is merit in doing physical stores and not just dark kitchens. Dark kitchens suffer from low margins. It also suffers from we have to spend high on marketing just to sort of drive visibility and things like that. So the format is already, say, think of Domino's, right? The Domino's doesn't do cloud kitchens as much. They do physical outlets, which are optimized for delivery, but you can still go to a restaurant. You always see a hoarding or a signage outside, which sort of, and there's always a brand recall with Domino's, even with Biryani by Kilo, what they're doing now, right? So idea is to present Rang De Basanti Dhaba in a fast casual format, which is optimized for delivery, which is a small seating, about 30 cover. So then we don't waste unutilized space for dine-in. Anyways, since most of our revenues come from delivery. It is the fastest growing format in the world. I mean, if you do a bit of research, look at brands like Blaze Pizza, Chipotle, Shake Shack, all of these are fast casual formats. The other great benefit of having this format is that it is very, very capital efficient. A full service dining experience of Rang De Basanti Dhaba costs more than 1 crore. This is pretty much half of that. We'll come to CapEx in much detail in the course of this presentation. But this is just a primer of the format that we're talking about. Equivalence I want to draw is what a Domino's is to a pizza, what a Chipotle is to Mexican. That is what we intend Rang De Basanti Dhaba to be for North Indian. In terms of what we offer in the food, right? So we are a classic dhaba. So we of course offer the classic offerings like the dal makhnis and butter chickens, right? But at the same time, we have done a lot of sort of ground research. Our chefs have traveled across the streets and bylanes of North India and picked up dishes which no other classical Indian restaurant does, right? So we would do a chicken kali mirch, which is in a traditional white gravy format. We'll do a chicken palang tod. We'll do things like champaran meat, which is quite popular now, which is picked up from the bylanes of Bihar. There is tawa mutton mirch meat, which is picked up from Jama Masjid. Even the fried chicken, right? If those of you from Delhi would be familiar with it, right? So it's an eclectic mix of old favorites along with new and interesting stuff that is happening across streets and bylanes of India. From a ambience and from a interiors point of view, it's a classic, simple seating, which one second. It's meant to be quirky and casual. You can walk into a Shorts. It's casual dining at that level. Again, there's live counter where you can see what is happening. There's complete transparency in the kitchen. And just a very casual, quirky ambiences, which is very millennial friendly. It is not really dated, right? A lot of these old North Indian brands that I don't want to name feel very dated. Feel as a restaurant which which is probably relevant 50 years back, but not anymore. So we have sort of rejigged the entire ambience and look and feel and the whole vocabulary of the restaurant. Now, which is the biggest food delivery category in India, right? If it was a two-way, I would have asked you this question, but since it's not a two-way conversation right now, it's not biryani or pizza, right? It is North Indian. Right? North Indian is the biggest delivery category in India, followed by biryani and then pizza and then Chinese, right? And we are the market leaders wherever we are, whichever geographies we operate in. Rang De Basanti is the market leader, right? And this fast casual format intends to leverage our delivery expertise, delivery learnings, and present it to you. So what are we offering? We're offering Rang De Basanti Dhaba. Along with it, we are offering 2 more brands which piggyback on the existing kitchens, the existing staff, which are called Deja Bowl and Rosie Roti. I'll just give you a quick brief on the 2 and then come to Rang De Basanti Dhaba again. So Rosie Roti is another brand that once you take the franchisee of Rang De Basanti, you will get it as a virtual delivery only brand. The brand centers around daily meals. It centers around the humble tawa roti. So if you're looking for a daily meal which is priced below 200 rupees, this is the brand for it. It is already operational in 7 locations, and yeah, I mean, this is what gets bundled with Rang De Basanti Dhaba. Along with, there's another brand called Deja Bowl. It's a meal in a bowl brand. We were amongst the first brands in the country to do a meal in a bowl brand. It was built in collaboration with Swiggy, even before Swiggy was doing their own brand, the Bowl Company. So it is a cuisine agnostic brand, but mostly whatever can go in a bowl would go into Deja Bowl. And the good thing about both these virtual brands are that they don't require any additional infrastructure. They don't require any additional staffing. So whatever is your revenue minus the COGS is your profit. There's no other fixed cost that is involved here. This is just a quick sort of a breakdown of where we are right now. We are in 3 cities. Calcutta, of course, is our hometown. So Rang De Basanti is across 12 outlets in Kolkata, Bangalore, and Guwahati. There's Deja Bowl, which is across 7 outlets, and there's Rosie Roti, which is across 7 outlets. In numbers and this new format, right? So size of typical outlet would be around 1,000 to 1,200 square feet. Investments is around 55 to 58 lakh. Like I said, we have pretty much halved the capex that a traditional Rang De Basanti Dhaba would cost, and comes to around 55 to 58 lakhs, which reduces the payback. This is showing 28 months. We have redone the financials. It comes to about 26 months. And these are very, very conservative numbers. I'll run you through it when we go into the deep dive of the business model, right? And the expected revenue that we expect from a typical RDBD outlet would be about 2 to 2.5 crore per annum. Our outlets do much more than that, but just to be on the side of caution and be conservative, this is the numbers we project. What is the edge that you get when you sort of become a partner to Rang De Basanti? One is it's an established, scalable brand. 1 second. Yeah, it's already been in the market for 10 years. It's scalable. We have solved the backend to a large extent. We are tech-first approach to things. So if you were to sign up, there are more than 7 or 8 tech products that we leverage, which help us manage and operate the outlet remotely, sort of monitor the operations, even dispense training remotely if we have to. We are I already addressed this, that we are already addressing the biggest delivery category, which is North Indian. It is a capital efficient brand with delivery and dine-in. Our cloud kitchens, of course, come at a much lower price, but this, despite having a physical outlet, is capital efficient. You get all kinds of support centrally. We have a HO team of about 40 people who give you support of all kinds. We have our vendors nationally. You get centralized purchase support. We have our standardized gravies and spices that you have access to, which ensure that the standardization of the product is maintained across outlets, and you get full backend support to operate the outlet. We are an established brand, of course, so we are a highly loved brand. We have high ratings across all the geographies that we operate in, across all the aggregator platforms. We have won our fair share of awards over the years. Next. This is just a quick breakup of the capex, comes to about 58 lakh rupees, which includes the franchise fee. It is what it is. We can, of course, when we go into deeper discussions, we can break it down further and have a look at it. All the drawings and designs will be given by us, but we are agnostic to, we don't want to sort of have it developed ourselves. So in case you want to engage your own contractors, you are very well free to do that. Our kitchen equipments are customized and very, very sort of particular to our operation. So it's not that you can operate with any standard generic kitchen. So we provide designs for that as well. As long as you adhere to all the specifications of all our construction specifications, we are happy to allow you to use your own vendors if you have to. A quick breakdown of a typical P&L, the unit economics of it is that our food and beverage costs comes to about 25%. Coal and gas fuel comes to about 4%. Packaging cost comes to 8%, but only 50% of the revenues come from delivery. So that's halved, comes to 4%. Delivery cost also same, about 22% is the delivery cost, but since it's only levied on 50% of the revenue, it comes to 11%, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, after you pay royalty, you are left with an EBITDA of about 13 to 15%. Pretty much a breakdown of the same percentage into absolute numbers, where our average order value is 400, and you can drill it down to that number of 52, which is what you end up earning per order. In terms of timelines, we expect, and these are again very conservative timelines, from the day we sign the franchise agreement to the day we go live should be about 120 days. But in the past, we have been able to ship and open outlets within 60 to 90 days, right? Totally depends on the logistics, totally depends on how quick or how sort of cooperative you are as a partner and as a franchisee, right? And depends on which city and which location we are doing, how much can we leverage our existing infrastructure in the same city, right? For instance, if you're doing in Calcutta, right, it should be fairly straightforward. 120 days would be ridiculous. So yeah, depends on totally the location and the site, and of course how cooperative and how fast you, as a franchise, you want things to happen. What you're paying for, it's a bunch of things, right from site selection, all the design layouts, the restaurant layouts. You get all the operational management tools. You get all the pre-opening assistants, our entire training team, marketing team, our front of house team travel to the location and help you set up the entire restaurant, right from identifying suppliers to recruitment. Next. Okay, the next one, please. Yeah, and you get all kinds of operational manuals, the standard operating procedures, all the booklets, all the recipe manuals. Training is a recurring thing. Of course, we have pre-opening training, but training is required from time to time, and that is what sort of our team will be available for whenever required, or whenever, say, a new menu is going live, or whenever there's something else that needs to be sort of made live. There'll always be ongoing marketing assistance as well, in terms of our central marketing team will be filling you up with all the data that you need to locally market. There'll be top-down marketing in terms of the lot of the ATL that needs to be done, that will be handled centrally from our HO. Yeah, I think we'll share the presentation. You can have a look at it, and sort of we can have questions on this as to what it entails, and I'd be happy to answer that. Next. The plan is right now in 3 cities. These are our wish list of cities that we want to get into ASAP. But we are the cities are not just limited to what we have here right now. It could be any other city that has the market, that has the right circumstances to actually have a Rang De Basanti. See, ultimately, we're a classical Indian restaurant. Pretty much every city, every micro metro, every tier 2, tier 3 town can have an Indian restaurant like ours, right? So we are fairly open to any new locations besides the one already presented here. Yeah, just to give you a quick brief, Rang De Basanti is, of course, a brand of the holding company of Zing Restaurants. We operate a bouquet of brands. Besides Rang De Basanti, we have Deja Bowl and Rozi Roti, which of course come bundled with the current franchise agreement. Besides that, we of course run an Asian brand also called Asia, which is a full service experiential dining place, and along with it comes a Asian delivery brand called Wokyu, but they are separate. Just sort of wanted to give you as to what else we do. I'm Abhimanyu Maheshwari, and I've been doing this for a while now. I've been amongst the first guys in the country who started this idea of dark kitchens and cloud kitchens in the country back in 2013, even before Swiggy was there. So delivery is definitely an area of expertise, and I come with deep domain knowledge in this area. Besides me, of course, we have a team of 250 people across HO and outlets, which will always be there for your support and help whenever needed. Yeah, thank you. Now, can we move on to the financial model once? Archana, should we do that? Yeah, let's move to the financial model. Just share the Excel. One second. Stop sharing. Okay, I hope this is visible to everyone.
Ji.
Okay, cool. So just a quick breakdown of the setup cost, which was around 57 lakh rupees across civil, electrical, plumbing, the equipment that is required. It also accounts for the franchise fee. We'll share this detail with you. It's about 58 lakh rupees. Of course, it's not sacrosanct. It could be slightly less or more depending on certain site specific requirements. From a revenue point of view, how we're looking at this, there's two parts to Rang De Basanti's revenue. One is your in-dine, the other is your delivery, right? And in-dine, we have kept around the weekday number of people who engage with the brand is around 45 in the first month, and weekends about 72. This is much lower than what we do in our typical outlets, which are full service restaurants, right? So very fairly conservative numbers. We look at a monthly revenue about 6,28,000 rupees in the first month, going up to about 7.5 lakhs. And with delivery, we are showing an average weekly orders per day. A weekly order or weekday orders per day is about 50 orders per day, and the weekends are 75 orders per day. Now, again, these are also very conservative numbers because most of our outlets across Bangalore and Calcutta do at least 100 to 120 orders per day, Swiggy and Zomato combined. I've just kept half of that number simply because there'll be new areas that will be targeting, and we are better off being conservative here. If we are, say, able to sign up a place in Bangalore or Calcutta, which is sort of our home territory in that sense, this number can immediately start at 80, 90 orders, right? So this comes to about 7,20,000 there from the first month, going up to 8.5 lakhs by the end of the year. Then we have the two subsidiary brands, Deja Bowl and Rosie Roti, which have a very, very low numbers of 10 and 15 orders per day. Since there are no additional costs, right? Even if you're doing about 2 lakhs from them on a monthly basis, we end up churning a healthy EBITDA margin from them. From an HR breakdown point of view, about 15 people to 17 people is what we imagine. It has a clear breakdown of the roles and designations that we will need to deploy people in. And the typical salary should come between 2.5 lakh to 2.75 lakh is what we expect. Right. In terms of, combining all the revenues, we should expect around 16.5 lakhs to 18 lakhs in terms of average monthly revenue, right? And these are, again, very conservative numbers. I expect these numbers to be easily possible. Of course, totally depends on certain locations, certain geographies where delivery is big or not. And that is where our expertise comes in. We have access to insights from Swiggy and Zomato as to which areas in the country, which localities in the country, which cities in the country have the maximum delivery demand for North Indian, right? And where there's a cuisine gap for North Indian, right? And that is, we are able to specifically pinpoint and identify the lat-longs where we should be present. So if for example, inquiry comes from, say, Agra, we'll be able to call our national contacts in Swiggy and Zomato and find out the kind of numbers we expect from that locality, from that geography, right? So this is an average number that we have taken, which is around 16.5 lakhs. Food cost ranges between 25% to 24%. Really, we do at 24%. We've taken that extra 1% just as a backup. There's packaging cost about 4.5%. There is fuel cost about 4.5%. There's delivery commission 26%, but 26% is only level. 22% plus 4% is the GST which it comes to. And we have subtracted the delivery commission which we don't pay for dine-in. So effectively, it only is around we only pay delivery commission on Swiggy and Zomato and not on our dine-in revenues, right? So gives us a cross margin of about 50%, right? Post which we have to pay for our employee costs, which we already established comes to about 2.5 lakh rupees a month. Then we have considered a rent of about 1,50,000 per month. The size of the property, the size of the premise that we're looking at is around 1,000 square feet. So I think 150 rupees is a healthy rent per square feet to consider. You might get it for cheaper or maybe 25,000 rupees more. Totally depends again on location. I think it's a good average to have. Electricity, everything else has been considered below, right? And we have also considered marketing costs at around 5%, which should easily go down to 3%. Right now, the EBITDA in this model is coming to 10.8%, but if we reduce the marketing cost by 2%, which should be possible at a stable state, we would hit an EBITDA of about 13%. The ROIs in this are coming to about, the payback is coming to about 2 years, 2 months, I think, which is fairly healthy. And I think this is pretty much sums up the numbers in terms of the broad headlines are that with an investment of about 58 lakh rupees, you should hit an EBITDA of about 13% and have a payback of about 2 years, 2 months, considering you do a sale between 16 to 20 lakh rupees. Yeah, I think this is it from us. Now, I think you guys are going to open up it to questions, right? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abhimanyu. And this was a very quick and I would say detailed presentation at the same time. And friends, I'll like to request all of you, whatever questions you have, please use the Q&A box and I'll take these questions. I see some of these questions already coming. And while, once I see your questions, if you can also put maybe the location or the city that you have interest in, I'll be able to pick that up and check if that location is open. So thank you again, Abhimanyu, and friends, just to quickly recap the opportunity and talk a little bit about the experience of Abhimanyu while he did that during the presentation. He's a very dynamic entrepreneur and who actually turned his passion in food to a successful, profitable business model, and has had a very interesting journey of his brand all these years. And he's been in the industry for nearly a decade now, and he also mentioned about technology, and which also happens to be an area which has his very keen interest, and they've synchronized technology with their business model. And there's a big time access to the user data when you have technology in place, and when you have user data analytics with you, there is also real-time adaptability your business model can do based on the data that you see, which gives you analytics on consumer profile, what they're consuming and what locations, and there might be a case where some locations would need some kind of menu, and while the others would have a demand of certain kind of items on the menu, and accordingly they're able to optimize their processes, they're able to optimize the ordering, they're also able to optimize the staff scheduling, which brings efficiency in a food business. And as we talked about, they have primarily there's one key brand which is Rang De Basanti, which is also the biggest North Indian food brand in the entire East India, and this is by volume is what I'm saying. And they have actually made a and this is in fact a modern take on the traditional concept of dhabas. And they the initial aim when they started the business was to recreate the entire experience of a dhaba within the city. And apart from their anchor brand, which is Rang De Basanti, they also have other two brands, which is Deja Bowl and Rosie Roti. And these are primarily delivery only brands, and they're built around more towards comfort, meals, and convenience, as we saw also in the presentation. And if you look at food industry, friends, overall, this has been a very, very competitive market, a very high in terms of, hyper local competition. And they have been able to do very well in the locations they have been running, and they have been able to adapt to the market. And like Abhimanyu mentioned on delivery, which is today a very crucial part of the restaurant business. And what they have done, they have worked on every aspect to enhance the entire delivery experience. And all that comes with a lot of research and experience, which they have been doing. And I also know the last 2 years of pandemic, where a lot of working has gone into optimize this model, including the cost structure, which is very, very important part of running a restaurant, because if your cost structures are not right, your business would not do well, right? And that's very important. And this is something which I would feel, and personally feel that Abhimanyu has mastered very well. And they also happen to be a leading operator on the food platforms like Swiggy and Zomato. The format that we're discussing is about 1,000 to 1,500 square feet of space, which is in the tune of about 55 to 60, 58 lakhs of an investment. And now, in order to optimize and get full efficiency, from the outlet, they have integrated these two brands, and the outlet also doubles up, for delivery. So, which means you don't have any dull hours or null hours, and all these null hours are optimized by the company, and these sources become your revenue, and you don't even need additional staff during that time. So congratulations once again, Abhimanyu, for what you've achieved. And my first question to you would be, and I understand the last 2 years had been difficult for the restaurant industry, and I see you have actually done a lot of working around the brand and launching again in all the new markets. I would like to ask, have you seen the businesses recover in these 2 years? What change have you seen in terms of the customer expectation and overall brand experience, and how have we integrated that in the business model which we are bringing to our partners?
Sure. Thank you, Sonia. So yeah, I mean, it's a relevant question as to sort of what have we done to sort of face this pandemic, right? So one good thing, and where we were hedged already from the beginning, is that we, even before pandemic, we were a delivery first brand. About 55-60% of our revenues used to come from delivery, right? Yes. That worked out fairly well for us. I mean, at least helped us sort of pay the bills, right, during the pandemic, right? So that worked out well. Now, post-pandemic, we pretty much doubled down on delivery. Delivery has been personally my area of expertise. I've seen the entire industry of delivery evolve through the years, even during pre-Swiggy, pre-Zomato days, right? So definitely something we have worked on delivery in terms of how we have redone the kitchens. Our kitchens have been completely redone and optimized for delivery. Most of the kitchens earlier were being force fitted for delivery, but now, since we are delivery first, all our kitchens are optimized for delivery, right? Besides that, we launched these two virtual brands which leverage and maximize the efficiency of the kitchen and utilizes sort of unutilized resources, right? That's something we have been able to do, right? I mean, the larger thesis is this, right? A lot of things will go back to how they were pre-pandemic, right? But this idea of sitting at home, pressing a few buttons and calling for food while you are pressing Netflix on your remote, that's not going to change, right? That will continue, right? And that's a cultural change that the world has to comprehend with, right? It's a new world order. There will continue to be experiential restaurants for which people step out. But for an Indian brand like ours, this is functional food. It will be delivery first, but we want to have physical outlets because there is always this case to be made for people going out and trying out the food. But that's why this whole case of being smaller outlets and not sort of full-size restaurants. So.
Absolutely. And I'd also say, because they already have an existing outlet operating, and that has been for quite some time. And if you look at the last, and even the pre-COVID time, there were many companies that, started cloud kitchens, and they all kind of, shut down because they didn't have technology, didn't have the right business model. And also during the COVID period, a lot of companies still tried and did that, but I personally feel a lot of performance on the food platform, and especially when companies are already existing in the market, where customers or the end customers like us can experience also these products in the outlet. That actually engages a client much larger than just a cloud kitchen where people don't get an experience. So when you have a brand which has a physical presence and they're also there on the platform, their performance on the food platform is comparatively higher than companies which are only cloud kitchen centric companies.
I'll just add to this. Sonia, that's been one learning that we clearly have had, right? That during the pandemic, a lot of these since there's such low barriers to entry, right? A lot of these cloud kitchens came in, right? And of course, they could not make ends meet. There was so much competition, and that's when we realized that just having a listing on an aggregator doesn't distinguish you, right? You have to put a face to a name. And that's why there is a clear business to be made out of having physical outlets, right? And this online to offline strategy is now a global standard. If you look at, say, what a Lenskart does, right? Or what a Biryani by Kilo does, or what sort of a bunch of D2C brands in US are doing, right? So there's always this need to, that's a clear realization that you need to have physical outlets, even while you are a delivery first brand.
Absolutely. I also understand it, and you did talk about, we discussed the P&L and the chart that we saw, and friends will be able to share that with all of you, because a lot of you are asking on the information on how does it work, our costing on the food and all of that. So Abhimanyu, based on the experience, what are the 2 or 3 things that you feel, makes up the operations of the outlet very, very efficient? And to my own understanding, food cost is one element, which is because food, while it looks like a great business, but if we go wrong on our food costing, our margins in the business completely erode. So what would be your 2 or 3 things, which you want to maybe, give as a tip to your partners of, the things that they should integrate in the business model to make it more efficient, and the costings which they should be looking out for, including the rental, and we go wrong on rental and food cost. I feel these are 2 areas where a lot of mistakes happen and make sometimes the business unviable to be run. Over to you.
Sure. So I'll address a couple of things here with the food cost, right? So one great advantage that you get with us is just to sort of break it down how Indian food works, right? Indian food is a lot about gravies, the mother sauces, and the spices, right? And 80% of the food is just that. 20% is what we sort of do on the ground, right? All our gravies and all our spice mixes are centralized, right? We didn't have it in the presentation. We should probably put it. Is that one is all our gravies centralized. So all our franchisee partners get standardized gravies from us. We are in collaboration with Unilever Food Services to actually produce proprietary gravies for us. With the spices, right? A typical Indian kitchen, if you go to any restaurant locally in your neighborhood, right, you'll find that 25 spice mixes, right? In our case, what we have done is we have condensed the 25 spice mixes to 5 proprietary mixes, right? Which make 90% of our food, right? And they are dispensed centrally, mixed centrally in our own central commissary, and dispensed to all the outlets. It's not that the training needs to be done for all 25 spices. The permutations are significantly limited, right? And 20% then is what we do training and on ground sort of, constant learning and relearning is what we, so that ensures to a high degree standardization. And that also addresses the food cost bit where we are centrally procuring this. And there is no sort of, fluctuations of market that really sort of come into the picture here, right? Besides that, the other bit is, since we are an Indian restaurant, right? All the ingredients, all the other ingredients are fairly standard and locally available. We're not dealing with a bunch of SKUs which are exotic or which need to be imported and things like that, right? So that allows for us to have a degree of predictability in the entire cost structure.
And how does the entire supply chain work, when we talk about all these proprietary, gravies and mother recipes, or, the masalas that we talk about, and how that it is supplied monthly, real time, and especially when we talk about locations outside Kolkata?
So, like I said, we have our proprietary gravies are done by Unilever, and wherever you get products or wherever you get a Lux soap, you'll be able to access our proprietary gravies. We have distributor network across the country. And even if there isn't one, we'll be able to courier it there. Our masalas have a shelf life of about a month. So, and they are very, very low volume product, and they'll be couriered directly to the franchisees wherever they are. So if you have any courier service in your location, which I assume you will have, you should have access. Like we operate with our Bangalore outlets and Guwahati outlets. It's fairly straightforward, 2 shipments a month, and we are sorted.
And I see some locations, where people have also shown their interest. Abhimanyu, I'd like to ask you what locations or important markets you think, would be our immediate focus to look into.
Sure. So, I mean, we already in Bangalore and Calcutta. There are a few locations in Calcutta that are available up for grabs. There is a bunch of locations in Bangalore, right? Since we are covering 4 or 5 locations in Bangalore, but Bangalore can easily accommodate 10 to 15 outlets. So definitely those locations are up for grabs. Besides that, any micro metro, like there are cuisine gaps in Jaipur, there are cuisine gaps in Hyderabad, there are cuisine gaps in Chennai, there's Pune, right? These are clear go-to markets where we already have the data and the insight to predict that we'll be able to do good numbers there, right? From a larger sort of scale point of view, we imagine, Rang De Basanti can go into any of the state capitals. The 30 states we can be on in every state capital, really.
And I did see Mr. Vijay, I don't know what city you belong to, but you mentioned interest for Delhi and Bangalore. And Bangalore, we definitely are looking for, and already operations are there in the city. So if you need more information, do let us know. We'll send it across to you. And we'll also link up your call or a meeting with Abhimanyu as team appropriate. And I'll also see some other questions, Abhimanyu, which I see in the Q&A. And friends, keep writing in. We'll take these questions. And so this was a question which I see coming from Mr. Amartya Gupta. What about the cooking staff servicing team? And is that something which is trained provided by the company? Yeah.
So the cooking staff, the head chef and the outlet manager will always be provided by us. Our HR and recruitment team will assist you in recruitment for all the other staff, but a lot of local insights and local level knowledge is required for completing the staffing. So our HR and recruitment team will work in collaboration with you, the franchisee partner, to actually fill up the rest of the staffing needs. In any other major city, we have our recruitment networks, we have our agencies, which we work with regularly. So it will be a collaborative effort, but definitely the two key important staff for front of house and back of house will be hired by us.
And I see a question from Sarita ji asking if there's a royalty component also, and if that is there, what is the percentage that we take? Is that a fixed or a percentage that we ask it?
Royalty is fixed at 7% of the top line. So whatever revenue you do, we take 7% from that.
And I see a question on the wastage also, Abhimanyu, and this is, the question from Mr. Vijay. He says, we haven't captured the wastage cost in the analysis. How is one advised to manage the wastage in the food?
So wastage is part of the food cost that we've already considered. Wastage is a significantly low percentage, even less than 0.5% in our total cost mix, right? See, these are modern restaurants with adequate refrigeration. We have demand predictability to a large extent, right? So wastage is a very, very minuscule part, and something our purchase team and our F&B controls team monitors on a daily basis. Even if you are anywhere in the country, we monitor it centrally. So that's always sort of a less than 0.5%. It is a number, but it's already built into the food cost.
Absolutely. And also, friends, I'd like to add, on the question, I think that was a question from Mr. Gupta, on the team which is required. And since, a lot of recipes, they come from the company, this would not be too much of complexity to actually, prepare that, but the staff would be trained by the company, and there would also be some training that would happen, on the site. So friends, I'll also request all of you, if you have any location which is available and where you want to start, or the city of your interest, we'll be more than happy to get you on one-to-one call or meetings. Now, Abhimanyu, outside, Kolkata and Guwahati, Bangalore, I think in Northeast, we have some locations where we would be looking at, and which would these cities be? I think Guwahati already running some locations or outlets already. So what would be your locations ideally for West Bengal or, northeastern side of the state?
West Bengal, we can definitely look at Siliguri as the second city to do we're already popular in Bengal. So definitely a market that is up for grabs. In the northeast, we've got inquiries from Agartala and Tripura. Guwahati can actually accommodate 2 more outlets easily. Beyond that, I mean, I don't know what kind of markets do Shillong or further northeast have. Again, we'll have to get insights on them. And since it's very delivery focused, this market, we'll have to look at this. It's not as delivery focused. We have to get the insights on what are the kind of delivery numbers one is doing. If it's not very delivery centric, then we'll have to do a full service dine-in focused restaurant, which is again a different format altogether.
And would there be a differentiation in terms of the investment if we do, or, move any of the 3 brands? Are we looking at all these 3 brands together, right? Which is Rang De Basanti, and then we have the 2 brands, which would be more delivery centric.
There's no additional investment for these 3 brands come in bundled for that entire investment. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think I did see Mr. Arijit Dey asking the question. So this would be same, Mr. Dey. This is an investment of 55 lakhs, which takes care of the entire investment in the interiors, the capex, including delivery setup, which needs to be there, and also in dine. So I'll also request friends, we have a discovery day which we are planning in the coming week. All of you who want to get on a call or even come and meet, one, and second, if you have your presence in the cities where we already run a restaurant, I'll request all of you to experience these places to get, first-hand experience on the business. And we can have maybe one-to-one meeting or a call. I did see somebody, sharing their number and asking for a call to be done. And we can do any day, Abhimanyu, any day that you suggest in this.
We can do on 6th April. We can do on 6th April if that's
all right. Friends, 6th April is the day that we're doing the discovery day, and you can reach out to the hotline number of Franchise India. We'll take all the credentials from you, share it with the team of Rang De Basanti, and we'll take an appropriate time and slot that session out for you so that you can have maybe one-to-one discussion on the deeper understanding of the business, the model. And my request once again, all of you who are looking at or considering this opportunity, please, make a visit to one of their locations which is closest to you. And Mr. Gupta will also arrange a call with you, and we'll connect with you post the webinar and check on the time and confirm back to you. And before we close, Abhimanyu, I'll also request if you can share maybe a message with the entire audience which is listening to you.
Sure. I mean, I look forward to all the questions that you might have in future. We are super excited about this new format that we have launched. I think it's at the right intersection of the concept and the payback and the capex. I think it's been carefully carved out for franchising, right? It's not something that is very, very franchise conducive. And I think, I'd be happy to partner with you all in the new locations that we are looking at. Yeah, look forward to it.
Okay, thank you so much, Abhimanyu. And I'd like to thank all our friends, who have joined in today. And friends, please note, we have taken a note of all the questions that you've made and sent to us. Our teams will reach out to you and help you connect with Abhimanyu and his team. And thank you so much, friends, for joining in. Before we close, I'll request Archana to take on the final closing remarks. And one question I just saw coming in, which is from Ajit Tabja. And his question is, can we only do a cloud kitchen setup if you don't want to do the entire outlet?
So cloud kitchen setup, we have a brand called Zing Kitchens, which is meant for cloud kitchens only, right? Where we do only the back of the house, which is Rang De Basanti and the two brands. And we also bundle a Chinese brand, Wokyu, which we had showed earlier. So 4 brands come under one Zing Kitchens.
Sure.
The only thing with this format is that they have to be in very, very high delivery density locations.
Correct.
Right?
Very, very.
It can't be in any random
Yes.
city in the country, right? So we can discuss on a case-to-case basis. It's a great model, but only meant for high density. So if all the metros are clear, sort of good markets for such a brand, right? But if you ask me to do in a tier 3 city, it might not be the best sort of value for money there. Yeah,
absolutely. And Mr. Jha will be able to discuss that with you. Let us know. I don't know what city are we talking about, but if you're looking at a cloud kitchen, connect with us and we'll help you with the information. And Anuji, yes, this is a recorded session. You can find that on the Facebook page of Franchise India. Great. Over to you, Archana.
Sure. Thank you so much, Abhimanyu. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Thanks all the dear participants for joining in today for this webinar. Please connect with us at our business hotline number, as well as you can write to us at feedback@franchiseindia.in. Both the information we have shared in the chat box. In case you wish to share your suggestion, feedback with us to improve our processes, connect with us at our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter account. Also, you can join Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their LinkedIn ID to get more information from our side. And tomorrow, under our 12 p.m. webinar, we are bringing the brand and launching brand Beardo. It's the most awarded premium men's grooming brand. It's a retail opportunity for you. You can either become a partner, you can either become a master or unit partner with them. So don't miss this chance. Join us tomorrow to understand their different model. Registration can be done either by connecting with us at our hotline number or go to Facebook page where there is already a registration link. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a great day ahead. Stay happy, eat good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good day, friends.